I followed a strange light into the forest, and what I saw inside an abandoned cabin still haunts me to this day. All right, listen up. I've got a story that still makes my skin crawl, and I swear on everything it's true. It happened a few years ago when I was visiting my grandparents in this tiny, quiet town. You know the kind of place. One main street, everyone knows each other, nothing much happens. My grandparents' house is right on the edge of this huge, dense forest, and growing up, they always warned me never to go in there alone, especially at night. One evening, I was staying over and I got into an argument with my grandfather. I can't even remember what it was about, but I was so angry I just grabbed my jacket and stormed out of the house. It was already getting dark, but I didn't care. I needed to clear my head. Without thinking, I found myself heading towards the forest. It felt like the trees were calling me in, like there was something in there I had to see. I started walking down this narrow path I had never noticed before. The deeper I went, the quieter it got. I couldn't even hear the birds anymore, just the sound of my own breathing. And then suddenly I spotted something unusual in the distance, a small light flickering through the trees. It looked like a lantern swinging gently, but there was no one holding it. I felt this chill run down my spine, but at the same time I was curious. Who would be out here in the middle of the woods with a lantern? So I followed the light. It kept moving further away, but slowly, almost like it wanted me to follow. I don't know why I didn't turn back. Maybe I was too curious for my own good. After what felt like forever, the light stopped, and I realized I was standing in front of this old, crumbling building. It looked like a shack or maybe an old hunting cabin. I had no idea this place even existed. The door was slightly open and I could see the faint glow of the lantern inside. I took a deep breath and stepped in. The first thing that hit me was the smell, a mix of damp earth and something else, something sweet and rotten. I noticed a few old broken chairs and a dusty table. But what caught my eye was an old dirty mirror hanging on the wall. I walked up to it, and as I got closer, I could see my reflection, but there was something wrong. My face looked off. My eyes seemed sunken, my skin pale. I thought it was just the poor lighting, but then, as I was staring at my reflection, something happened that made my blood run cold. The reflection in the mirror smiled at me, but I wasn't smiling. I was standing there, frozen, with a terrified look on my face. And that smile, it wasn't a normal smile. It was this twisted, wide grin that stretched across the reflection's face. My body was frozen, like I was glued to the spot. I couldn't move, couldn't even scream. Then I heard a voice. It was a whisper, soft but clear, coming from right behind me. It said, "You shouldn't be here." I felt this icy hand grip my shoulder, and in that moment I snapped out of it. I stumbled back, turned around, and there was no one there. The room was empty. But when I looked back at the mirror, the reflection was gone. It was just a blank, dirty surface. My heart was pounding, and I could feel this cold sweat on my forehead. I bolted out of there as fast as I could, running through the forest, not caring about the branches scratching my face. I didn't stop until I was out of the woods and back in my grandparents' yard, gasping for air. Follow for part 2.